Maybe we do choose the people we love, but at a certain point, like once you love them, you really don't choose the people you love. You can't just like unplug your heart from that. We were together for 4.5 years. We had already developed like a really nice, really good platonic friendship with some like chemistry and tension in there. And, one thing led to another, and all of a sudden, like, I found myself going from one relationship to the next. Basically, she said to me, you can go and be single if you want, and like flit around town, but I'm not gonna wait for you. And I was like, okay, like, I really like this person, I'm not gonna let them get away. So much of our dynamic was her taking us to the brink and me pulling us back. She's kind of an instigator and I'm like a de-escalator. And that dynamic actually worked. It worked really well. And when things were good, they were great. We weren't perfect together. We had issues. But I always felt like we could fix them. There was one night, like 2 weeks before we broke up, where I came home and I came home from a concert, fairly drunk, and got in bed and just like broke down and was like, I don't deserve you, I don't know why you're with me, I'm sorry I'm going through this terrible time. And I woke up the next morning and I was fine. And I was like, I'm so sorry, I don't know what came over me last night. And she was like, it's okay, like it's totally fine. And there was one point, like about a week later, where I got back from a skiing vacation with a friend, and I was like, I know things have been rough lately, but I think things are kind of like turning up for me and getting better. And she was like, yeah, I know, we have to talk about it at some point. And I was like, what do you mean? Is this a breakup talk? Like, what? And she was like, no. And I was like, okay, promise me this isn't a breakup talk. And she said, I promise. And then 6 days later, she broke up with me. The bottom line is she broke up with me because she was unhappy. But one of the things she said to me is, we want different things. And I don't believe that to be true. The one major difference is that I wasn't lonely at any moment because I always knew there was somebody to call or somebody to go home to. If there's one word for it, it was like contentedness. And not necessarily in a bad way, but again, like there's a negative connotation with that word that's real. So it's not necessarily always in a great way. I think it's really telling that like, I think she stepped out of this thing and like, I'm sure there was hurt and pain, but didn't feel like there was a giant hole in her world. Like she was moving on to the next thing. And for me, it just felt like an abyss had opened up in the middle of everything. So how am I different now? Well, in the last 6 months, I bought a jump rope, started going to the gym more, and I've lost 20 pounds, so that's one way I'm different. Yay! Yeah, what up? The other way is, like, I've obviously had to re-examine all of my friendships in my social life, and it feels as though I have to reconstitute my life in New York. It's absolutely put into perspective the idea that I need to take care of myself in like an entirely different way that I just wasn't during the relationship. Having a sense of self in a relationship is kind of a counterbalance to the part of your life that's committed to that relationship.